Imagine meeting someone famous and having no idea who they were. It happens a lot. You see videos all the time of people that have interactions with celebrities and they just don't have a clue who they are. They may not care, or they may not realize until afterwards and go, "Oh wow, that's a famous person." Ah, woo woo woo. Well, we see this exact thing happening in John chapter 2. Welcome to Walking Through the Word for today. We're in verse 23 of chapter 2. Now, when he, Jesus, was in Jerusalem at the Passover feast, many believed in his name when they saw the signs that he was doing. But Jesus, on his part, did not entrust himself to them, because he knew all people, and needed no one to bear witness about man, for he himself knew what was in man. So what this little narrative here from John is talking about is that Jesus knew the hearts of us. He knows our hearts, which we know he does, because he's the creator. He knows everything about us, and yet the creation did not recognize him. Remember back in John chapter 1, verse 11, when it says this, it says, he came to his own people did not receive him. In other words, they didn't recognize the hand of the master. They didn't recognize the creator, yet the creator never forgot about them. That's why Jesus was here. But when they saw the things that Jesus did, the miracles, and many believed in his name, what they were really wanting was Jesus to fit in with their expectations. You can go look over in the Gospel of Luke and Mark and Matthew, and you can see instances where people tried to get Jesus. For example, in Luke, you look around 4, 5, and 6, when he's in Capernaum, people of Capernaum want Jesus to stay. Stick around, stay, be our own personal healer, be our own personal Jesus. And Jesus goes, I can't do that. That's not what I'm here for. But that's what people wanted. And so when they were seeing the things that Jesus did, they wanted him to come and join him. Let me rephrase that. They wanted him to come join them. And not the way that we should be doing it, which is when we should be changing and moving and shifting to come towards Jesus. That is why Jesus, on his part, did not entrust himself to them, because he knew all people. He knew their hearts. He knew what they wanted. And we see this all throughout the Gospels. Even with his own apostles, they still tried to make Jesus conform to their ideas. They would get excited and see incredible things from Jesus, and they would go, oh, what about this? And Jesus would go, that's not my purpose. That's not my mission, or that's not your purpose and your mission now. See, the disciples wanted to go this way, and Jesus said, no. You need to follow me this way. Jesus didn't need anyone to bear witness about man, for he himself knew what was in man. That's why he was here. He knew that there was no way that we could save ourselves. He knew that there was no way that we could do what needed to be done, especially when we can't ever get it right to begin with. Even if God laid out the blueprint, which he did, we would miss it, which we did. We would not follow it. We didn't. God knows our hearts, knows that our sinful, depraved self is going to zig when we should zag. That we're going to try to make God conform to our ideas rather than us conform to what God wants. So Jesus was here doing these signs, but the people, they still missed it. They were still trying to make Jesus do these things, and that's what happened again and again and again. People's expectations of the Messiah, and this is where Jesus was very careful, and this is why Jesus did not yet reveal himself to them, because they wouldn't have been able to accept it. They would have been like the religious leaders. Jesus needed to continue to open the door and provide opportunity for people to come to see him and believe in him, and then recognize the authority so that he could then show them the true gospel. That was what Jesus did time and again. You can go back and look at the other Gospels, and you can see that when Jesus goes and he heals the people in Capernaum, as we talked about, he does so that he can proclaim the gospel to them. He meets them where they're at, and then he moves them to where they need to be. And this is what Jesus does for us as well. He meets us where we are at, but he's always moving us to where he wants us to be. And we must conform to that, not to the patterns of the world, not to the things that we want, but instead to what God has for us. And this is a very difficult and endless battle, but it's one that is very well worth it. And the good news is that Jesus finally did reveal himself to the people, and for all that believed, they would be saved. And that is a conversation that will be coming up next time.